So there was a great article in the Globe Mail not too long ago about AI adoption in corporate Canada, and they listed a whole bunch of examples, and they virtually all were about productivity and cost reduction. Uh, and before AI, when there was something that gave you that opportunity to cost reduce, you just did it. You didn't make a big deal about it, right? But here's the challenge. Canada faced a fundamental problem in growth. We have a crisis in growth. Our economy is sluggish. The GDP is not growing. And so we need growth. And my concern is we have corporate leaders who are saying, yeah, okay, we're getting pressure to use AI. It's a shiny little trinket. Here's what we're doing. Here's our AI plan when it's all about cost reduction. We need to grow our way out of the problem. And so AI, I'm worried, is a distraction for all that. You mentioned earlier about sort of de-risking. Experience is needed to give some guardrails around AI because it may give you wrong answers, it may hallucinate. You need people who learn through experience to interpret what that's all about. So I worry also about younger people coming into the workforce using AI, and the studies are finding, and I'm sure this is going to keep getting, showing more and more evidence behind this, but they're not learning critical thinking skills. And so they're using AI and it solves it for them. So what's going to happen when they want a more senior job? They won't be qualified for it. And in fact, what's happening a lot is a lot of these entry level jobs are just being deleted. Companies are
Right.
saying, forget, I'll just get AI to do that. So we need growth, and that's going to take a mindset focus. We have the talent out there. We're just not aligning it. And we got to stop waiting for the government to do things for us. And the other thing is, don't be paralyzed by the state of this perilous economy and the world that we're facing right now. But this is the time to be bold.
Mhm.
Bring in people with proven experience to drive your biggest dreams and help you move forward. With their experience, can de-risk it, can improve your probability of your results, and help your execution.
I love how you mentioned it, like how you said it. Instead of solving our economical problem by cost cutting, why don't we solve the economical problem by growth? And it just, if you take it from a macro level or from a micro level at a business level, like macro meaning like the entire country, GDP, etc., then if you take it down to a miniaturized way of looking at it at a company level, and that's always been the dilemma. How many times do I have these stories? As you know, I do a fractional CRO. That's my primary work. I keep talking to people. I said, solve the problem by increasing revenue. If you have a lot of revenue, if you have revenue, you have a problem to solve. If you don't have revenue, you don't have a problem to solve. You can shut it out. You can shut it down anyway. Nobody's going to solve that. That's what people go to first is, and I think this is still remnants a little bit from remaining a little bit from that period that we went through during COVID. You remember when people went working remotely and they started fixing, not fixing, but it looked better on the financial statements because we have lesser real estate cost, we have lesser IT cost, and people got help from the government. So the financial statements, it was looking very, very rosy. And I remember, I don't know if you remember that, but during when everything was chaotic from a pandemic perspective, the stocks were doing very well because the financial statements were doing very well. Like the outlook on companies were doing very well.
And they were doing well because of surge pricing. They realized that they can make more profit by focusing on marginal revenue as opposed to total revenue. So it used to be they'd sell 1 million widgets and make 10% margin. And they realized we could sell a whole lot less widgets if we just charge a whack more and make more margin per unit. And so that's still lingering with us today. We're facing cost of living crisis really across the world.
Like I tell you,
Polarization.
like you mentioned AI earlier, like in that article that you said from a Global Mail. I remember conversations like just recent, like a few months ago. Somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, we want to develop an AI app," and they don't know why, because the boss told them to. We need to look at something with AI. Okay, but what is it? What are you trying to solve? They haven't yet defined that, and not because they're bad or they're thinking differently, etc. Not because they don't know what they're doing. That's not the case at all. Because the idea is so pressured, is so shoved down so fast that I want results now. Nobody's taking the time to analyze where it doesn't work and where it does not work, and where does it fit, where it does not fit.
And in fact, Gartner Group, McKinsey, KPMG, it doesn't matter who, they'll tell you 75 to 85% of AI initiatives fail for these very reasons. So, what I would and what the consultants on the platform, because I've talked to many of them about it, would start with the issue. Don't start with the solution.